But right now, we're going to focus again on the new Speaker of the House, and that is Mike Johnson from the state of Louisiana, elected, at least among House Republicans, on a unanimous basis today. They all voted for him after Tom Emmer was not successful, and a number of others were not successful either. We do have a panel that has a lot of success in their backgrounds. That's a transition for you. The Republican strategist, Ford O'Connell. Haven't seen Ford in a while. Good to see you again, Ford. NewsNation contributor and Democratic strategist Chris Hahn as well. There's Chris. So I don't know. I want to get both of you, obviously, to weigh in on this. I guess, Ford, I'll start with you. It's the Republican Speaker. We finally got to this point. It's kind of interesting, though, how we got to this point. Was it just a matter of exhaustion where Republicans would have nominated everyone? I said to Mike Vaquera earlier, I would say not necessarily. I think what President Trump proved yesterday, it had to be someone, I think this has to be pointed out, that voted to overturn the election. It had to be. Otherwise, Emmer would have won yesterday. So you pick up from there and tell me how we got to this point, in your view.
Yeah, I think that there's a couple of things. I think, one, that the conference wanted a committed conservative. Two, someone who sort of has Trump's support. But three, and this is the most important part, and that is trust. It's something that Joe talked about earlier in his segment from Capitol Hill, and that is when you look at Mike Johnson, as Elise Stefanik said, he is someone who's a friend to everyone in the Republican conference and an enemy to no one. And when you tie the three together and throw in a little bit of exhaustion, let's be fair, that's why we have.
But on the election, I know you're trying to, and this is normal for Republicans, don't want to talk about that. I get it. I get why you wouldn't want to. But that is the issue, the one issue that if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't be Speaker. Am I right about that or wrong, Ford? Just real quick.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, that's what Democrats want to say. Obviously, that Republicans want to say, and I'll say it right now on your show, Connell, I do not believe that the 2020 election was free or fair. And I think most Republicans agree with that. That does not mean that Joe Biden is not the duly elected president of the United States.
So, Chris, pick up on that point, because, I don't really want to. I was pausing about that because I'm not necessarily want to get into a relitigation of the election. There's no evidence to support that anyone's president besides Joe Biden. I was just asking about the politics today of whether that was the issue that got this guy, Mike Johnson, there. But, Chris, from your point of view, how did you see this on vote number 4?
Well, it seems like that was a litmus test, least, right? For sure. But look, congratulations, Mike Johnson. Here's the problem for the 20 or so Republicans in swing districts right now. If everything goes well and the budget doesn't shut down, nobody's going to care how Mike Johnson voted on January 3rd, 2020. If the budget shuts down and we don't fund Ukraine and Putin takes over Ukraine, and we don't fund Israel, and we don't do the things that we need to do to keep America working in the right direction, Democrats are going to hang Mike Johnson around every Republican's neck in the nation, and it will cost them the majority.
Well, it seems like Ukraine. I know they're going to bring up social issues.
Without the baggage is what he is.
Yeah,
and I think we all know that.
But they're going to bring up social issues, the Democrats. I get that. They've already started doing that. They'll talk about abortion. They've talked about gay marriage. But on foreign policy, and maybe it's just Ford because we're so focused on it on the show right now, it seems like Ukraine is the one to watch here. And a lot of Republicans, right, are really growing weary of that war. And I think that the new speaker may be one of them, that he might not support that $60 billion. How do you see that playing out?
Well, I think that you're going to see Republicans ask for Israeli funding and Ukraine funding not to be tied together. I think that's very obvious. I think that when it comes to the House... But if they're
separate, would it pass, do you think?
Yeah. Yes, it would, because 40% of Republicans will support Ukraine funding. I think the issue here with Ukraine is, one, we don't know what the mission is. Republicans don't think that NATO is paying their fair share. And finally, when it comes to Ukrainian, we're very worried about corruption. Joe Biden has never told us what the mission is. And the longer it goes on, 600 plus days, the American people are going to get tired and start asking much the same questions.
All right. We have to wrap it up here in a minute just to get the news on at the top of the hour. But, Chris, I'll give the last kind of word to you. I mean, it's done now from the Democrats' point of view. Could they work with a guy like Mike Johnson?
Democrats control the Senate and Democrats control the White House. There's going to have to be a deal made. And as our reporter pointed out, this guy's going to get a pass for the continuing resolution. But Israel funding, Ukraine funding is going to get tied together in the Senate. Both Leader McConnell and Leader Schumer agree that they should be tied together.
I think
so the Senate's sending them a package tying that aid together. The House is going to have to do something with it.
I think the wider political question, which is interesting, we'll get to this at our next panel when we have you guys on, is whether that control, House and Senate, flips in the next election because of a number of dynamics, Democrat and Republican. But Ford, good to see you again. Chris, good to see you as always.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.